Hello friends, welcome back. This is Ethereum versus the US dollar, and maybe we'll take a look at Ethereum versus Bitcoin in this one as well, just for the crack like we did at the end of the Bitcoin video. So I'm Rocky Outcrop, your pal. We're all Rocky Outcropticians together. Welcome back if you're a subscriber, welcome to the family if this is your first video. Let me know in the comments down below, by the way, what other sort of coins and whatnot you want to look at, and if you're looking at all of them and all the rest of it. I'm asking people in the videos today to let me know, kind of, because I don't really know how to structure the channel so much, and I want to get off on the right foot, obviously. We made it over 300 subscribers, and I want to, tailor the content to what everybody wants, obviously, but then not like, be too scatterbrained about things and have people subscribe because they want to see Ripple videos and then we only do one a month or something stupid. So anyway, yeah, welcome to the family. Thanks very much for sticking through my little ramble there. So what are we looking at in terms of Ethereum right now and where the prices have come? Well, we've been talking about this for quite a while now, this triangle that we're in, and we're still inside it. And I guess the way that we left off yesterday, having moved this here to this compromise position is what we called it. We had it, I think, where did we have it before? Kind of like that, and then we said that you could have it like that there, using the wicks and or something. Anyway, we kind of just dropped it off there and said we pick it up again today in today's video and see where we are. Well, this is kind of a bit of a question mark. Are we having an experience in a fake out of this right now? To the downside, is that happening, or is it still within the triangle? And or is it indeed? Am I saying, I said fake out there, but is that actually a real legitimate breakout, and what have we got on the go, and is there anything to identify what's been happening? Well, let's just leave it there and look at it and imagine it's a breakout right now, and look at this volume on today's candle so far. I mean, bearing in mind that we're halfway through the day already, and the volume candle there is absolutely dinky winky tiny whiny, then I suppose it doesn't signal, it doesn't scream breakout. Over here you could have this, I suppose we could sort of stick it like that or something, I don't know, and we can say quite easily then that we're still inside here. So what are we looking at in terms of the prices? Well, I mean, first off, we'd need to see them going down to 127, 126, 125. I mean, we know that anyway. We're looking here at 128.50, and I think if we've been kind of watching the price action over the last wee while, we know that it's going between these two areas of sort of 140 as at its highs. It's kind of been up at 147. In fact, over here it did actually get close enough to 155. It got right up to 154. So that was one heck of a day, though. I mean, look at the range on that day is a full 26%. I mean, you're talking about if you were to look for a breakout of something like this and be able to play it one way or another. I mean, you had the whole thing happen more than that in that one day alone in terms of its wick. So I think that in terms of like using these as patterns and looking for breakouts and playing them as breakouts and everything else like that is kind of a bit silly. But what you can do, in fact, if I just put that wee line back on there, is you can kind of say, hey, look, and when I talk about these things, these targets as always being greedy or whatever, the thing I sort of forget to mention, and one of the Rocky Outcropticians in the world yesterday kind of said it to me at one point, and I thought, well, that's quite a good thing to remember to be saying, is that way that we talk about them could also be said that, that's your sort of that it could go up there, but it ain't going any higher than that, is the kind of the way that you could look at these breakouts. If it did break out to the downside, then it break down to there, but it, the likelihood it ain't going any further than that. And if it were to break out to the upside, then it could go up there, but the likelihood is it ain't going any further than that. And that's an interesting way to put it, if you want to kind of cap your thoughts at that until you've reassessed things at that point, of course. I mean, like if and there are instances, of course, where you get measured moves and then it just like flies on past there. Was it over here that we were looking at Head and Shoulders, or was it on the other chart? I can't remember. But we more than got that, I suppose, with this full move. But it just as a way of thinking about them is like to think that, because sometimes people talk about these measured moves and you stack it up against all these different points of resistance, and you look at how there could be a measured move from here all the way up to the 50% retrace line at 186. You're almost there. Obviously it's not quite there, but it's almost there. And then you'd be looking at thinking, well, if we get there, then we could be going the whole way up. Well, the measured move isn't that, it's that. So but then again, like I say at the preface of all this sort of jazz, I don't think that it's worth really playing those things in general as a way of being a healthy trader across the long term, and the longevity of your life as a trader. Of course, if you're sort of just like new to it and looking for shiny stuff, then that's cool. And if you're you know, I don't know. I mean, if that's what you do and it works for you, then great. That's totally fine as well. So as we've been talking a lot about how over the past series of days here, you've had 10% moves and 5% moves, which are sort of relatively low risk and easy to manage risk wise and stuff like that. And if you trade the outside of these things, then you're kind of making more of taking on more of a risk. But anyway, that's great. So what could we be looking at? Well, say for instance, just we stay inside this triangle. Then what would that pan out like? Well, you could have a sort of relatively low risk management, easy to manage, therefore in a sense low risk, because of course you decide your own risk at this. There's unlimited risk is the truth of it when you're trading. Now I'm not a financial advisor, none of this financial advice. I just have to throw that out there again. But of course, if we're looking, we could take a sort of relatively low risk long and try and play it up towards that 140 area, and you'd be looking at a 10% move towards the upside if that were the case. And you could kind of like think about managing your risk outside of this area. Just, you know, you could stop out fairly quickly if you wanted to, and that's kind of where we could be looking, for instance, just for to sort of the next 48 hours, or how maybe but it does really depend how the week opens up. So I'll be really keeping an eye out for that on the regular, you know, on the old traditional Alio Stockios, because you know, if this opens up here and has a big spike up, that's one thing. If it has a massive run to the downside, then you know that could influence other things, and of course how Bitcoin itself operates as well, and around that time is what we'll be looking at. But yeah, so we've kind of wrung that towel dry, I'm sure, and of course there's all the previous days videos. Like I say, we're inside this triangle, so the whole time that we've been inside this triangle, we've been really saying the same sort of thing and all that sort of jazz. So the previous chat all still applies. What did I want to add on here? Yeah, I wanted to add on ETH, BTC. And what will we go for? There's my recording icon is right here, by the way, so I can't see. I'm going to think that top one's Binance because it was before, and that will probably be Coinbase. Is it? What is it? Bittrex. Well, I don't want Bittrex. I'm a goddamn char. Who uses Bittrex? ETH, BTC. Where's Coinbase at? There's Coinbase, the third one. We'll go for Coinbase today and just add that on here. Just, I don't know where most people do this trading. Maybe I should have added Binance. And of course, what we were looking at then in the Bitcoin one, just to run through it again real quick, is I drew in I drew in a Fibonacci retracement just to get a rough idea, of where the where the prices are operating in terms of the sort of the last couple of phases of what's been going on here. And you can see here that there's this Fibonacci retracement. The target, if we wanted to make it a valid one and look towards upside, you'd have to be looking towards that, all the twos, 0, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. If you're looking from down here up to where we got up as high as, and God, why did I do that again? So what's up with me? I'm feeling a bit sick today, by the way. You can tell. Actually, I always say to people, if you feel ill or too tired or whatever, you're not eating right and stuff like that, to avoid trading it, you know, if possible, don't do anything, because the decision-making processes are obviously a bit shot. Yeah, so we came past the golden zone here, as we said, on this particular retracement here, and we haven't made it down as far as 786 yet. We're in this sort of no man's land right now. Could we see a turnaround and that be all the profit that's being taken from this, or could it get on down to these deeper extensions there as well? And we could also draw on all sorts of other shapes and everything else, but a lot of the other things like harmonics come from Fibonacci sort of stuff anyway in the first place, so we don't need to like go overboard with it all. And then we can draw one final one on in here. Pointless one. This will be a complete pointless one, but why not? From here to here. Oh God, can't see anything. Right, so we're still above the 236 on this particular Fibonacci retracement, meaning we could still have some more upside. This hasn't become valid yet, so like let's assume that we're going to just, you know, keep going to the upside instead. But of course, I'm keeping an eye out for that 2098 level, because if we go down below that, then maybe we could be going all the way down to 2020 or 20, whatever that number is, 20,000 and 2020, whatever. We're not going to get too carried away looking at that particular thing right now. We know the ranges. Thanks very much for tuning in. We'll keep an eye on this one maybe in future videos. Who knows? I think maybe it's good to have the Ethereum Bitcoin contrast at the end of both, but I'm not sure. It makes more work. It might not even be what you want. So again, let me know in the comments down below what you all want. A bit subdued today because I'm feeling sick. Hope that's okay. I'll see you in the next video.